Hey guys, so today we're gonna go backwards. Okay, today I'm going to give you the parabola and you are going to use the information on the parabola to be able to write the equation of the parabola in factored form. It's called intercept form. That's what I called it in our last notes, but looking at the worksheets that we're giving you for homework, it's also called factored form. So you need to be able to just remember that factored form and intercept form are the same things. And remember, that's the one that looks like this. It looks like this: y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. Okay, that's factored form. Okay, so go ahead and get this copied and we'll begin. All right, here we go. So the main thing is you need three things to be able to write the equations. Just like with vertex form, you needed three things. You needed the a and the h and the k. In this case, to write the equation for this parabola, you still need an a, but you also need a p and you need a q, okay? And remember, the p and the q are the x-intercepts, okay? And the a is the stretch. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write down two things. What is the stretch? Okay, what's the stretch? Well, look at it. You start at the vertex and go down and over 1. That'll tell you the stretch. So we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So that's down 4 over 1, right? That's down 4 over 1. So the stretch is negative 4. Okay? Down 4 over 1. That's the same thing as negative 4 over 1. Negative 4 over 1, right? Okay, but that equals negative 4. Okay, so I don't need to write that. All right, so there's my stretch. And my x-intercepts, okay, my x-intercepts are this guy right here, negative 2 comma 0, and 0 comma 0. All right, so if my p is negative 2, remember it goes inside the parentheses as the opposite sign. And here my q is 0, so that goes inside the parentheses as the opposite sign, but 0's not really one we worry about. So here we go. All we have to do is use this information. So y equals, your stretch is a, that's your a, right? So here's your a, okay, and here's your p, and here's your q, okay? So there's your a, there's your p, there's your q. You just plug those in. So a is negative 4, right? Y equals a, so put negative 4, okay? Parentheses, x, and this is minus p, so your p is negative 2, so you put in the opposite, so it's going to be positive 2, okay? All right, and really that's just because if p is negative 2, it's minus negative 2, and a minus a negative is a positive, so don't overthink about it. Don't overthink it. Just put in the opposite. And then here you have x minus q. So x minus, and then q is 0. So just put a 0. Okay. And we can simplify this. If you notice this guy right here, x minus 0, isn't that just x? Okay. So we can rewrite it like this. Y equals negative 4. This is just an x. So put an x. And then that's x plus 2. Okay. So that's probably the best way to write it. Okay, so there's that guy. Why don't you go ahead and copy down this one here, and we'll do the exact same thing. Okay. All right, here we go. We need, remember, we need our equation to look like this: intercept form or factored form. Y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. Okay. And so here we go. We just need our stretch, right? So stretch, or it's our a, okay, and start at the vertex, and this time we're counting up 1, 2 over 1, so we went up 2 over 1, so our stretch is 2. That's my a value, right? Okay, stretch is up 2 over 1. All right, and my x-intercepts, okay, that would be 1 comma 0, 1 comma 0, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comma 0. All right, so there's my p. Oops, that's my p, and here's my q. Just something to point out. Notice every time we have an x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to show you something later. So that's just foreshadowing. All right, so here we go. We want to write down our equation. Just like that one, we used all the pieces of information, the A and the P and the Q. Okay, same thing here. We have the A and the P and the Q. So here's our A, P, and Q. So just put it in there. So y equals, okay, A is 2. So put 2. And then it's x minus P. Well, P is 1. So put it in the opposite. So it's going to be, if P is positive 1, you're going to put in minus 1. Okay. And then Q is 5. So it's going to be x, put in the opposite. So minus 5. And there we go. We're done. That's it. That's the equation of this parabola, believe it or not. Okay. All right. Let's do something a little different. Okay. Why don't you copy down this T-chart. All right. So now the easy cheesy way to do this is once you have these points, just graph it. Draw a graph and do it just like you did the problems we just tackled, okay? That's the easy cheesy way to do it, okay? You have the points, plot them, and then do what we just did, okay? But there's kind of an issue here. You notice this point right here, 2, 27? So if you draw your graph, you go out 2, 1, 2, and then you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's way off the page. You don't want to graph something like that. That's just not cool, okay? So one thing we want to do, okay, is always find our vertex, okay? Always start off with our vertex, okay? Where would my vertex be? Well, in this case, it's simple. It's right there in the middle, okay? You can tell because each y-coordinate on either side of it, if this is 27, look at the y-coordinate here, it's 24. Then look at the y-coordinate here, it's 24. Then it's 15, then it's 15, then 0, then 0. Okay, so there's my vertex. It's always going to be kind of centered, okay? It's symmetric on both sides of it, okay? So there's my vertex. And the other thing you notice, remember on the last problem when I said the y-coordinates are 0 for the x-intercepts? Well, if you notice this guy right here, here's a y-intercept. And here's a y-intercept. So those are important points, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you a way how to do this where you don't have to graph it. It's actually pretty quick if you just follow the steps, okay? So the first thing we want to do is figure out the stretch. Remember, we're trying to get this y equals a times x minus p, x minus q. All right, and oops, sorry, just hit the camera there. Okay, and so we need our stretch. Here we go, just like the other problems, stretch. Okay, and that is hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to show you. We did it last time when we were doing writing equations in vertex form. Okay, you remember you start at the 27 and ask yourself, what do I need to do to go from a 27 to a 24? Okay, that'll tell you your stretch right there. What do I need to do to go from 27 to 24? Well, you have to subtract 3, right? So your stretch is -3. That simple, okay? All right, and then let's just list our x-intercepts. So our x-intercepts, well, we already have them. They're -1, 0 and 5, 0. And we're ready to go. Here we go. Y equals A, right? So your A is -3. Remember, this is your A, this is your P, and this is your Q. Okay, so Y equals -3, parentheses, X. P is -1, so put in the opposite, +1, okay? And X, and then Q is 5, so put in the opposite, -5, okay? And that's that. All right, let's do one more. One more, right here, okay? Again, if you want to graph it, and write the equation like you did from these graphs, that's cool. But I think this way that I'm showing you right now is way easier. Find the vertex. Okay, did you find it? All right, good. That's this guy right here. There's my vertex. Okay. Find the y-intercepts. Okay, did you find them? All right. Here's one of them. Here's one of them because they have zeros there, remember? Okay. And now all you have to do, remember this is the form, y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. That's the form we want. That's factored form. It's also called intercept form, okay? And let's do the same thing. We need our stretch, okay? Or our a value. And again, ask yourself, what do I need to do to go from an 8 to a 6? Okay, what do I need to do to go from an 8 to a 6? Well, to go from 8 to a 6, I need to subtract 2, don't I? So my stretch is -2, just like that, okay? And then I need my x-intercepts, so x-intercepts. And that's this point right here, 0, 0. It's also a y-intercept, by the way. And this point right here, 4, 0. There we go. All right, go ahead and write down the equations, or the equation. All right, here it is. Y equals -2, x plus 0, x minus 4. And can we clean this up a little bit right there? Because x plus 0, what is that the same thing as? That's right, it's just x. So here we go. Y equals -2, x, and then x minus 4. And that's that. All right, guys, if you need anything else, you know where to find me. Peace.